Okay, so this is some sparring footage between me and somebody from my gym who is getting ready for a fight. He asked me to take some footage of us sparring and critique it so that he can be a little bit better off. He also said I could use it for content on my channel, so here we are. We're going to take a look at some of the good and the bad stuff that he does, as well as some of the good and bad stuff that I do, if there is anything that's worth highlighting. And we're going to highlight it. We're going to, talk about it so that, this guy can be a little bit better off for his fight. Now, there is a size difference between us. I am quite a bit bigger than he is, and there's also I won't say a skill, but an experience gap between us, because I've been doing Muay Thai for a lot longer than he has. So just keep that in mind, right? I wasn't trying to kill this guy or anything like that, but that skill gap may come out at certain points. That's just the way that it is. Or the experience gap. The reason why I hesitate to say skill gap, even though I just said it a second ago, is because this guy is not completely unskilled. In fact, he has had many years of karate training. I believe he's like a second or third degree black belt. I could be wrong about that, in Uechi Ryu. But he came in and he was good pretty much right out the gate. Obviously, there were some bad habits that we had to try and help him to unlearn, right? And then some good habits we had to instill in him. But I was impressed right away, because he came in and there were so many things that I really didn't even have to tell him. So many things that I didn't have to like explain to him or anything like that. He just got them right away, and that was really cool. This guy is skilled. You're gonna see that. And he is one of the people who kind of helped me to soften my stance on karate a little bit. I was doing karate before I knew this guy, but after seeing the way that he was able to pick it up so quick, I do think that there are some things from karate that definitely do overlap, or you can carry over, that's going to help you get that much better at kickboxing. So that was pretty cool, right? Obviously, I'm not saying you can do kata and you're going to be fight ready. That's not what I'm saying at all. But compared to people who have never done anything, this guy was like leagues better right out the gate, And even before he got into combat sports, like kickboxing or jiu-jitsu or anything like that, I think if he had to fight somebody who didn't train, I think he would have been fine. I think he would have been perfectly capable of protecting himself. But with that out of the way, we're going to go ahead, we're going to take a look. This is me, if you didn't know. All right, this handsome fella right here. And this is him. So we touch gloves and he darts back because I told him, hey, don't get cheap shotted. So that was a jab cross right there that was deflected by me. Jab. Ooh, so we'll go ahead. We'll take a look at that again, right? We'll go half speed for it. I don't want to spend like an hour on this video, because then it's going to be like pretty much unwatchable. But we will go ahead, right? So he darts in and he gets bopped on the way out. We're going to go over why. So here he is. Bang, 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 bang. So what happened there was, for one thing, he was a little bit far out. Okay, he was a little bit far out to be doing that. And then another thing is, when he was like, I'm gonna show you, right? So he's a little bit far out there. My hand probably only extends to about here on the screen, right? Maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less. He's got like 2 to 4 feet between where I would reasonably be able to hit him and where he is, right? But he starts all the way from out here, and then you also see, right? So that wasn't a bad idea, faking high and then going low. But the issue is, for one thing, he wasn't really trying to hit me with any malice, and that might just be because he's thinking, oh, this is Scott, this is my friend, this is my coach, right? Let's not try and kill him. But he could have gone a little bit harder. He could have gone a little bit harder. And then, because he didn't push me back. He didn't make me respect what he was doing. And he ended up getting hit with that hook when he was on his way out. So that's what happened there. And I ended up telling him about that, right? I told him about that pretty much right after, right? It's about to look a lot quicker now because we were watching in half speed. Yeah, and you can't hear me right now, but you can see I'm showing him like, hey, you got hit because you did that, right? He needs to make me respect him enough to push me back. Like, that right there wasn't bad, right? He threw that jab and the cross, and you see how I had to shell up. I had to catch it off of my guard, and I had to move back. I had no choice. There was no ability for me to counter off of that. So that right there was good. You know, I don't know about the distance, but we'll go ahead. We won't nitpick the distance on that too much right now. That was a nice teep. I throw that jab. There was a nice teep. And he was able to do that because he had his distance right. So I throw my jab. He kind of, you know, he steps back. That was good, right? That was good. And we'll watch that one half speed as well, all right? And it's a little bit tough. It's a little bit tough to see, all right? It's a little bit tough to see. But the reason this was good, right? The reason this was good is because he followed my jab back in. So going a little bit further, right? You're going to see I throw a jab there. I throw another jab. And he wasn't way far out. He wasn't way far out. And then in addition to that, when I was pulling my jab back, or really it was a little bit that I was throwing my jab out and I just didn't hit him and then he swarmed. But as I'm pulling my jab back, he follows me in and he actually pushes me back this time. He basically did the same thing he did when he got hit with that hook. But watch that, right? Now, I don't know how many of those actually landed. I think all the body shots probably landed, right? But from there, it was good because he made me respect what he was doing. And I couldn't counter off of that because I was out of position. Oh, yeah, that was a nice teep. He teeped as I was stepping in with the kick. That was really good. See, I think what it comes down to with this dude is distance. That was an attempt at a check hook, but he couldn't really make it work. Oh, yeah. So we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna look back at this exchange. Okay, we're gonna start from the check hook though. All right, I'll bring it back just a little bit more. We're gonna start from the check hook though because I want to highlight why that didn't work out. So you're gonna see that he is basically shuffling as he tries to throw the hook. He has to step. He has to step with his front leg to the outside, throw the hook, and then he can adjust the rest of his body. That's how you use a check hook to move at that kind of angle, right? But instead, you're going to see, right? So it's almost like he was just kind of like waving, you know? But that was an all right teep. The thing is, he fell into it, right? And he ends up getting kicked. He fell into it and he fell flat. Okay, now the reason why he fell into it, right, I just realized is you're going to notice, coming back just a little bit, right? You see how he switched stances. He was standing as a lefty this entire time. Now he's switched to his righty stance, and he ends up throwing that teep. He used the teep to switch back into his regular stance, but he fell flat. And then you notice he ended up out of position. He ended up square with his legs as I came in. And that's why he kind of lost that exchange there. That's why it didn't really work, is because the teep didn't work the way that he wanted it to. I kind of stepped back just enough to absorb it and not be sent flying back or stopped in my tracks. And then he ended up out of position when I swarmed. And then there was, I believe, another kick that was coming in. You see in right there, he switched stances, and when he switched stances, I swarmed. And I didn't do that on purpose necessarily. I just happened to notice he looked like he was open to get a kick, or to just be attacked, right? So I ended up throwing that kick, and here it is. A lot of it has to do with the way that he's switching his stances and the way that he's kind of, you know, he's got happy feet. He's got happy feet, right? He needs to know when the appropriate time to switch stances is, and that's something you're going to see for pretty much this whole thing, right? So a little bit tough to see here. Nice teep from me. Great teep from me. That was an all right teep from him. I think I think he just didn't throw it with everything he could. So a jab cross up the middle. You see what he's doing right here, right? Oh, hey, that was a nice hook to a midsection kick from me. I have to say, I'm doing pretty good right now, aren't I? What he was doing, right? We'll highlight this. We'll highlight this a little bit, right? So he throws that teep. One thing that he was doing good here was keeping me a little bit off balance with certain things. Like he faked a teep there, He threw that jab cross and then another cross off of it, right? He's making it so that when I set to try and get ready to start throwing something, he's throwing something that's making me have to respect him, right? He's keeping me honest. And that was a good little exchange right there, even though nothing really landed like that. And then unfortunately here, what happened is he kind of showed his hand with the teep, so I baited it, and I came in with that hook kick. And this is one thing that you should be careful of is don't show your hand. It's one thing if you're going to fake something. It's another thing when it's very clear that your intention is to really go through with it. And because of that, you get a little bit anxious, you get antsy, and you get another version of happy feet, I guess you could say. And that's why he ended up getting kicked there. Ooh, you see, we're gonna take a look at that. We're gonna take a look at that. I think it was only 10 seconds in the round. Ooh, that was a nice teep. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to take a look at this in slow motion because this is another big problem that we've talked about already, right? So you see how far away he is. Jab, jab, and he gets bopped. That's because he was so far away. Again, like if we go back, right, we'll go back a little bit. You see, this is like right when he's about to start. If I extend my arm out, I can probably reach to about here, maybe a little bit more. See how far he's starting out, right? And then he goes jab, jab, and then he ends up getting clocked. And the reason that happened is because he was basically just telling me, hey, I'm coming in. He was telegraphing the fact that he was coming in for a real attack there, right? And because that first two jabs, those first two jabs happened the way they did, I knew, okay, if I just stay in, I can throw a cross right over the top, you know? Because he's moving in with his head on the center line, right? And it was an easy target, you know? I think in between rounds, we're not going to listen to in between rounds. There's really no point. But I told him that first jab, I noticed the movement. The second jab, I made the read, meaning I knew what he was going to be going for. He was just going to be moving in. He was going to throw another punch off of that, whether it was another jab or the cross that he decided to throw. And because of that, I was able to come over the top and hit him while he was moving in quickly. And that's what made that punch so hard. You can see he's practically, his head snapped back and I won't say he almost fell over, but I mean, you can see the orientation of his body, right? That's not good for him. But going back, almost annotations. Oh, wait a second. I believe that is, yes, that is the end of the round. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna skip to the next part of the sparring. Okay. So right now I'm talking to him a little bit. I'm telling him about the round two strategy that we have. Ooh, that was nice. And you see the reason that was nice is because he didn't start from 5 feet away. He started from at the end of my jab. And because of that, he was able to, even though he didn't really land any punches, he was still able to make it work for him where I'm the one who's moving back, right? I have to cede ground to him because I wasn't ready for him to attack, right? So I just had to shell up and I had to be like, all right, whatever. I lost this one. I'm moving back, right? But the second round strategy is different from the first round strategy. And that's how I did it with Sam is we did pad work, right? 3 rounds at a time. And the first round would be a certain way. The second round would be a certain way. The third round would be a certain way. That's how I'm doing it with this guy too. Train wreck. That happens sometimes. Both of you have a similar idea. So jab, and you see all that movement he's doing, right? All that stance switching he's doing on the outside. That's not good, right? You see there, he almost got countered. He was able to move me back, but it was more that he was moving in, and I saw that he was moving in, so I stepped back to try and counter, right? Luckily, it didn't work out, but next time it might. You know, I'm not saying there is next time. I'm saying the more that happens, people tend to kind of hone into how far they need to be away, right? There has to be a lot less stance switching just for the sake of it. It's one thing if you switch stances and you're like, okay, I'm now going to stand as the opposite stance, and I'm going to fight from this stance, right? It's something different when you're just doing it to do it. And then in addition to that, like I said, don't telegraph by going from so far away. Hey, that was a teep that stopped him, I believe, anyway. That was a good idea on his part. He missed the kick. He was out of position, so he threw something to make sure I couldn't swarm on him. That was a good idea. Jab. Jab, teep. I think that would have done something if he really landed it flush, you know. All he had to do was just put a little bit more oomph on it, I think. And you see, there it is. He followed my jab back in. That was good. Teep that was checked. So he likes to jab up high and then go across to the body. That's not a bad thing. He's just got to be careful with the counter hook off of that, you know. I'd like to see more crosses to the head, but crosses to the head can be a little bit nerve-wracking. Ooh, that was a nice kick. He got that because I was a little flat in the moment, you know. Hey, and that was good teep off of the kick. He tried to set a quick pattern, and then he broke it by using a fake low kick to a teep. That was good. And you see there it is, right? That wasn't so much of a fake. The way I see it, that wasn't so much of a fake teep as it was him trying to throw a teep and realizing he may not have landed it. And because of that, I made him pay for it, right? Like, bang, bang, right there, right? It kind of looked half and half. Like, on one hand, he was like, I'm going to throw a teep, but then he realized, I don't think I'm going to make it, so then he just put it back down, right? And like I said, I made him pay for that. But yeah, like, he did a little bit better here, right? And he was able to land a kick, right? There was a kick that he was able to land because I was flat-footed. I think it comes about here. Yep, right there. You see, I kind of became complacent, and because of that, he made me pay for it. And that was really good, right? Oh yeah, that was a nice check. That was a good check. Actually, I think we may have skipped over a little bit, so I'm gonna go back to here, right? Just to make sure. Just to make sure. So here's that. And you see, I faked a teep. I threw a hook, and then I tried to throw a low kick off of that, and he did a good job getting out of the way of that and checking. But yeah. And you see, I was telling him, hey, watch out, because the way you're throwing your cross to the body, you're leaving your head on the center line, and that's not good. You need to move your head off the center line, and then also be ready to do more head movement off of that if that's how you're going to end up using that. Head movement in kickboxing and Muay Thai is a little bit different from regular boxing, but if you know how to use it, you can use it to your advantage. In addition to that, I think I was saying that I wanted to see more punches to the head, meaning crosses to the head. But the thing is, crosses to the head are a little bit nerve-wracking. You know, it sucks because when you turn, you feel like you could potentially be turning into his cross, and that is something that happens on occasion. So it can feel a little bit more comfortable to throw to the body, and it's something you got to kind of get over, you know. I'm not saying throw to the head when you're not sure that it can land. I'm saying that once you get comfortable, you'll know when it will land, and you won't feel like, I don't know, should I? I don't know, right? That's what happened in that first round when I caught him with that really good counter right hand, is I knew, like, okay, this is going to land. I need to throw this right now, because if I wait an extra second, it's not going to land, and it's going to be pointless. So, bang, I threw it over the top, right? But with that said, so the third round we're going to check out, okay? But unfortunately, I think the last 20 to 30 seconds of it got cut. That's unfortunate. I didn't have enough space on my phone, all right? Too many dick pics on my phone, you know? I'm doing the dick pic a day challenge is what I'm doing. No, I'm gonna have to cut that one out. But jokes aside, it got cut. All right, it got cut. Unfortunate, but it is what it is. You get most of the third round though, so we'll go ahead. We'll take a look, right? All right. So, round 3. So again, there's a slightly different strategy here. There's a slightly different it's slightly different what I want him to remember here. You know, and I'm not going to talk too much about what the strategy round by round is, but you know, it's a little bit different. So from there, you see, I was telling him, hey, you're getting caught with a hook when you come in with that. You know, again, it's that jab to the head, cross to the body that I'm talking about. And you see, that was good right there. He stayed at the end of my jab, and he threw something in return. If he had thrown with a little bit more gusto, if he had thrown that teep with a little bit more gusto, I think he would have been able to do something. Also, I was just a little bit out of range, but he could have stepped into it a little bit. Now, this is a big one. This is a big one, right? So he throws a kick, and I returned the kick. All right, a return, like, I'm big on return kicks. If I can check, I will. I'd rather just get out of the way. But if I do take a kick, I like to return kick, and that's what that was. As soon as I got hit by his kick, I threw a kick back, and that's a way to make sure that, one, you're not going to end up losing the kicking game, because in Muay Thai, kicks are worth more than punches. But in addition to that, it's good because when he throws a kick and you throw a kick back, if you get there in time, all of his weight is going to be on the grounded leg, which is almost what happened, right? Which I believe is almost what happened. We'll go ahead. We'll watch it. We'll watch it half speed. And when you kick somebody and all their weight is on that leg, it's going to hurt a lot more. So your kick is actually going to hurt more than his original kick. But of course, he makes a bit of a mistake here. Bang, right? So he really didn't want to get kicked in the leg. And because of that, he put his hands down here. And I think I end up telling him after this, like, hey, getting kicked in the leg doesn't hurt nearly as much as getting kicked in the head. So don't do that, right? Yeah, I'm telling him, like, hey, you know, they don't hurt that bad that you want to take that risk, you know? Hey, so what happened there, right? I threw a hook kick on him. I threw a hook kick. And the reason I was able to make that work is because you could see the intention. He was kind of leaning in, right? Like, watch. Up. We'll go back a little bit more. We'll go back a little bit more. Okay, so you can see, right? You see, he almost is about to start, and then he stops. He's almost about to start, and then he stops. You can see the micro little, right? And because of that, I knew, okay, he's getting ready. He's fixing to move in. He's fixing to move in is what he's trying to do. And again, 1, 2, 3, bang, right? And in addition to that, he ducked into the hook kick. You have to be careful with that kind of thing, and it's tough because you don't even realize that that's what you're doing. Either that or you do it, you don't think the other guy picks up on it. But the thing is, they will pick up on it. You know, you have to be able to just explode off of no tell, right? You can't be telling the guy what's going to happen. You can't be telling him what you're going to do. And that's unfortunately what happened here. And because of that, I was able to hit that hook kick. You know, not to mention the fact that, like I said there, you couldn't hear, but I said he was too far out. That was good right there. That was good. Again, distance. I think the story of all of this is just distance management, making sure that you're that looked all right. That looked all right. Making sure you're not too far out, right? Hey, that was pretty sick teep. Pretty sick teep from me, if I do say so myself. Oh, hey, would you look at that? Would you look at that? Overall, that was pretty good on his part. Like I said, there was a really big experience difference between us. There was a pretty big experience difference between us, and it's I mean, it is what it is, right? I don't think the guy that he's going to fight is going to be quite as good as I am, right? He's not going to be the physical beast that I am, and because of that, I don't think he's going to be completely and totally like screwed in that way, right? He did a good job against me too, right? There weren't many punches or kicks that landed from either of us, right? But he was able to impart his will on me in multiple situations and in multiple ways. So that was really good for him. That was really good of him. You know, I really don't have anything too huge that I can finish off with. It's just there's things that we have to take a look at, and we have to really try and fix them. And there's things that don't need to be fixed. In fact, there are things that should be done more, and we're going to keep on working on those things. You know, is what we're going to be doing. I think I know what we're going to be doing next Muay Thai class, right? But yeah, so there's that. I hope you guys enjoyed it. All right. Everybody wish luck to my guy. All right. Everybody wish my guy luck. And yeah, we'll report back. I mean, I'm gonna film it. I'm gonna ask him if he's all right with putting it up there if it goes well, right? Yeah, it all depends on what he's comfortable with. I wouldn't even be putting this on my channel if he didn't say that it was okay for me to put on there, right? But yeah, so with that, I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.